Okay, so welcome to another episode of Geek Vision, the show where we geeks give you our views on whatever show or film that we will be discussing. And today we're discussing episode 1 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't call it the Falcon and the Winter Soldier because it just sounds stupid. I'm like, that's just Falcon. That's not the Falcon. That's Falcon.
Like people say the Ohio State.
Yeah. Like when I used to work at the Borehouse, one of my friends there who has HIV, he was like, yeah, I had the cancer and then I had the AIDS, but now I'm cured of the cancer and I still got the AIDS, but it's really HIV, but I just call it the AIDS. And I was like, the AIDS? The cancer? And now he's got me calling everything the. So in my mind, I try not to do it out loud because it really sounds.
I try to stay away from both the HIV or HIV, as it's called in my world, and the AIDS. I really like to stay away from those. Just a second.
Yes. Okay, so first thing we should talk about is the opening. That amazing opening with Falcon. I love how it lasted about 10 minutes, and how we really get to see Falcon in action. And this is probably the first time we got to see just him going really hardcore, and he got to be the center of attention, and we got to see just what he was made of and how he's great in the sky and whatnot. And because he was usually
with that though.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people did. A lot of people thought it went too long, but I
have a different problem. I think it went the right amount of time.
Oh, you did?
What I have a problem with, and I'm upset because it immediately came afterwards, and this is what bothered me. The Army doesn't send one guy, and then Rhodey shows up in the next scene. It should have been him and Rhodey. And then there should have been a discussion about how Sam wants to do more than military, and that would have been passing. Like, hey, Rhodey, I'm doing this with you for a little while, but I have a different, I want to go do cat stuff.
Well, in the real world, it would have been like that, but I know that they wanted the focus. They want the focus to just be.
I don't know why they had a cameo then. It should have. That
was for us. That was really for us. But I think it was also too, because of when Sam started to feel like he wasn't worthy of the shield, and I feel like it was more than just he felt like he was unworthy. He felt like I want to make something of my own. I don't want to have to pretty much carry on this legacy of this guy who had already existed. You know what I mean? And then he was a white guy, so there's this thing about a black guy stepping into a white guy's shoes too, and then Rhodey.
I felt that.
Yeah, and that's why that's one of the reasons why I feel like Rhodey was there, in order to kind of encourage Sam to, yes, be your own person, but when a certain opportunity comes your way, sometimes with certain things you should take it, because if you don't, it'll go to someone who's less deserving than you are, and someone who just yes, and we're gonna get to that at the end. But I think Rhodey was there to just
shut my mouth on something. So enjoy that moment.
Yes, yeah. So I feel like Rhodey was there to really encourage Sam to, think about this decision. But then also you got to be your own person. And you have to be comfortable with who you are before you can take up the mantle of someone else. What someone else had. But Rhodey is also there, of course, for fanfare, just so that we could see a cameo of someone else there from the Avengers. And it felt like a movie.
I thought the perfect cameo for them would not have been Rhodey. I would have preferred something else. I know it wasn't possible at the time, but because of who we're involving in this show, and we know because we've seen the previews, it would have been Chadwick. And I'm so upset. That would have been the off the books team. Seems like it could have gone out of Wakanda with the technology and the information, or oh my God, why can't I think that? Who played Bilbo?
Martin Freeman, yeah.
Martin Freeman. That's the guy I want running this team, type of a deal. That's where I felt he would come in, and I don't think he's a part of the series, but you get the point that I'm making. That was a tie-in to me, because we know that CMO's out there.
Yeah, and he may still show up, because they're, with Marvel, they show us a lot in the trailers, but then there's so much more that they don't show after we thought that they showed us everything. So I believe he might show up. I mean, if he doesn't, I'd be kind of surprised because he's a part of that whole espionage government world. So it would just be a missed opportunity to not have yet another Avenger ally there. They should have a few sprinkled out across the season just to kind of remind us that we're in this world and that this world is bigger than just this story.
Okay, we'll get to this at some point, but like one of the points that I do need brought up is how is this only 6 episodes?
Well, it costs so much money, but then also
I don't want to hear that from the House of Mouse.
I know.
I don't want to hear it.
I feel like they shouldn't when they're doing a series that only comes out with the new season once a year like this, and when it costs so much, the episode should be no less than 10 episodes, because we want a good at least 2 months.
The Netflix rule.
Yeah, I mean,
I've seen some that go 13, but if it's not a minimum of 10, I mean, The Witcher is a perfect example. That was not cheap.
Well, yeah.
And they still made them 10 episodes. I mean, I'm sorry. God bless them.
Yeah, and the same with Stranger Things. It started off at like 6 and then 8, I think. And I don't think it's ever been at 10 yet. But I mean, the stories to me were so good. But still, I'm like, man, this would be nice if you gave us at least 10 good episodes.
I don't mind it at lesser times, but that was not a payoff on episode 1. And I know that WandaVision started off slower, but guess what? It had all those episodes. Like it. So next week, if it doesn't pick up, I mean, what am I looking for? The final 4 to be,
I know,
an hour and a half long a piece? I mean,
yeah, this one I didn't mind it being a little slower towards the end, only because with these two characters, we're usually getting them, flying across the screen and throwing themselves into buildings so much. We never really got a chance to really get to know them. So I love how they started off the show or the episode in a very MCU kind of way, but then they kind of toned it down at the end, and gave us a couple of surprises. Nothing that blew our minds, but still really nice surprises. And it seemed very promising to me. But I still get what you mean, because I can easily see how a lot of other people as well feel like there should have been more, there could have been more, and that there better be more next episode, because this one was lacking a lot towards the end, the middle.
The development for Bucky is one thing that I can't stand. Like, and somebody brought this up online. I don't remember the outlet, but like, Sam Wilson can't get a bank loan.
I know. Yes. Like, I mean, but
he can't call up Pepper. He can't call up. I mean, he can't call up Wakanda. He can't be like, "Hey, need $100,000." Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No. If you're gonna make the story real, that can't be real. That was a human interest story for us normal people outside of the comic book world. This man was not in bed, but you get the point.
Yeah.
In with Tony Stark. Who's running Stark right now? Pepper?
Pepper, yep.
Hi, Pepper. Hey, gotta save my family business. Not a problem. Tax write-off. Click.
But then if you think about the personality of Sam Wilson, he has too much pride, and they always say this pride for the fall.
And he can't go to Captain, who's probably been saving money for generations?
It's not that he can't.
He's not officially dead yet.
It's just that he won't, because it's just in his personality to want to. And that's really
not wrong. It's just, I mean, the way they wrote it was not like they should have. Somebody should have then like had the sister brother fight. Don't you have powerful like that should have been part? That's good writing.
Yeah.
I want the follow up. Well, we can call Stark Industries. We could call Wakanda.
Heck yeah.
You can call your buddy who used to be Captain America, who's probably got a 401k the size of most African countries net worth. Give me a break. I'm sorry.
I know, like I totally feel
shitty writing, and I didn't like it. It was shitty writing.
I didn't feel like it was bad writing, but I feel like they definitely could have added that in. They could have had the sister challenge Sam, like how you said, like don't you have
presidential debate when there's not a follow-up question when they screw up. That's maybe it's not bad writing, but if they're going to lead us somewhere where he has a slant on his shoulders because he can't get treated like a superhero, okay. But I want him to hear, or I want him to say to his sister, I'm not going to my friends for something that should be available to me after all I've sacrificed. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, that would have been brilliant. Absolutely
great. Sorry, am I right or anything? I wouldn't know. I only write.
You are correct. You are very, very correct.
Okay, so and then when I'm watching that part, I'm ready to cry because I'm like, if I'm a bank, I literally then use him as a marketing tool to. That was. Can you take my picture? Can I do a selfie?
And he'd have been.
Okay, but you can't use that as a marketing ploy. Hey, we financed the Falcon, bitch.
Yeah, like he would have jumped at the chance because he went in there.
Two better plot points.
He went in there expecting, well, not really expecting, but I guess kind of expecting the royal treatment in a way, expecting people to know who he is. And he knows he's not some Iron Man, but he knows that people know that he's an Avenger. And then he got shot down out of the sky like a bird, pretty much. And his ego was just like all the air taken out of him, because I
wouldn't have gone to the bank if I was him first.
Yeah, but see, that's
now that could have been before they go to the bank, could have been after. But somewhere that conversation needs to be had, and I'm sorry, they could have made it another 2 or 3 minutes long on this first episode for that.
Yeah, they had like 7 minutes of credits, which I expected, but man,
I thought it was after credits.
Nah. Though actually, that credit sequence, that was pretty It reminded me of that show, The Shooter, anyway, the whole government espionage kind of spy thing, which I love. But yeah, Falcon. It's really a shame that a hero can't depend on the country in the world that the hero has saved should be going to them and saying, hey, you did this for us. Let's put you on a plan. Let's give you a pension. You can just retire right now, even though you're 37, because you did more than enough. Plus, you were in the military. You're a veteran. But you can't really expect this country. I don't know how it is with other countries, but with this country, we've all heard stories of how the government treats its veterans, or treats some of its veterans, if not a lot. But treating one like they're nothing is too many to me. They should all be treated like kings and queens and being taken care of, because they not only sacrifice their limbs, some of them, but also their minds and their time with their families. And the government, a lot of the higher ups in the government who send these soldiers out on missions, they wouldn't go out on missions themselves. They want to send all of us, right. So they have a lot of them have no idea what it's like to make the sacrifice, or to honor your country. So when the veterans get out and they look to these,
that was my second biggest hang up of the entire thing.
Well, yeah, that actually I've been seeing online that's been a big thing with a lot of people. Like one of my buddies, he texted me and said, "Wait, so Falcon is with the Avengers? They saved the world, and he can't even get a bank loan?" I said, I didn't write it. But it speaks to how it is in reality too, with a lot of people, veterans and just regular folks, that you do so much, you pay your taxes, and it's so hard for you to get help.
It's like they couldn't verify his employment for 5 years.
Yeah, I'm like, did you not watch Endgame or Infinity War, Mr. Bank Loan guy? Like, he was gone for 5 years. Like, I love that part.
Thanos.
Yes.
Beat the Thanos. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, you don't have a corporate policy for this shit?
You think?
How's your small town bank even surviving? Okay.
Yeah.
Give me there's so many. Anyway. Sorry.
If only Maria Rambeau was in charge of that bank, she would have put something in place for all the people who came back to get into some kind of special program like she did with SOAR. Like she knew that the people would come back, or she had hope that they would. And
sidebar here, where do you think they end up? Because we know that Galaxy and Thor are going to intertwine.
Well, yeah.
Pretty sure Monica's going up for Captain Marvel too.
Well, yeah, she's definitely going to be in Captain Marvel too.
Right, I'm saying, do Falcon and Winter Soldier end up on the sword side of things?
We'll see they could
again, because I think that was actually a great foreshadowing that Winter Soldier only had peace in Wakanda. Is that where those guys are heading? Where they'll be appreciated? Where they'll be loved? Can Falcon move his family there and not have to worry about this kind of thing? Like that was a huge foreshadow for me. I'm sitting there going,
it's a possibility, because I think this series is more so about having us get to know Sam and Bucky, because if you think about it, both of the actors are both they're both two sides. Yeah, they're
Black Widow.
Well, yeah, they are two sides of the Captain America coin. You have Bucky, who's the veteran who can't get past his trauma. He's a man out of time. But then you have Sam, who's more like Cap personality-wise, where he will make the sacrifice, and he's pretty, he's the hero that everyone's looking for, and his mind is right. he's just a really great guy, and Bucky is not such a great guy, but he really wants to be because he used to be. But after everything that he's done for Hydra, he's turned into he was turned into a villain.
That was such great writing.
I love that scene, that opening scene with Bucky, because I wasn't sure at first if we were starting off with him jumping back into the
star, and I said it's a flashback.
Yeah, when I
gave it to me, it keyed me in, and the Hail Hydra shit. And I'm like, okay, this is a flashback. But then it's so.
But see, like I initially thought to myself, I wonder if this is a flashback, or if this is Hydra's new Winter Soldier. You know, they try to make someone else look like Bucky, be like Bucky. You know, because we've seen that before in different movies, and we've seen it at the end of this episode
I have a theory about something else. So.
Yeah, about what? Like about Hydra and Bucky or whoever.
West Asian.
Well, yeah. Okay, we'll get to that. We're actually not too far from there because this episode was so short, and this episode didn't. You know, they didn't give us so much.
Yeah, no, they didn't, and that's where like I'm wondering if we're headed towards the Thunderbolts. I'm wondering if we're headed towards them going to Wakanda for Black Panther 2, because you got to remember they're not going to be in Eternals.
Yeah.
Let's assume. That's why I actually think they're going for Black Panther 2.
I can't really see how they fit in there, but at the same time, this is Marvel.
What if this is leading, and they had to rewrite this, but this is leading for Sam to be Black Panther?
I don't see that happening.
Like it, but for the movie purposes and what happened suddenly, are they going to give it to Shuri? Like, they won't even announce it. They should be telling us. This is not a secret they should be holding.
Well, I think actually it is a secret that they should be holding for a limited amount of time until filming until they're either in the middle of filming, because there's going to be a leak eventually somehow, some way. Even though it's Marvel, everything is pretty.
It's House of Mouse, and they will kill you.
Yeah,
they will kill you.
There will be a leak, so I think right before filming starts in the summertime, they will announce what the story, what the plot line will be for the most part. But I don't feel like Falcon should be Black Panther, because then you'll never really get to see Falcon just be himself for the rest of the time, because it's like with this series.
Right, who's your number one Black Panther then, with him killing his cousin? Because that's what they're wishing they hadn't written.
Well, I love T'Challa. In the comic books, funnily enough, I didn't like T'Challa in the comic books, but I think that they made him very likable in the movies. So, but I'd rather have Shuri become Black Panther and have what's his name, M'Baku be the male counterpart for her and help her in missions until she gets her feet on the ground.
Get married, but she's the Black Panther.
Yeah, well, actually, no, not having them get married, but just have him be like a surrogate brother to her, because we never really saw them interact in the movie. We only saw him interact with T'Challa, so I think this would be cool, especially now since both of their nations within the country of Wakanda are buddy now. So it would be cool because you'd have that strong black male figure, but then you'd also have Shuri, who should be the Black Panther, you know, if we're sticking to how it is traditionally in her world in Wakanda, you know, so nobody really loses anything. We only really gain something in M'Baku and in a new upgraded Shuri, because she'll still be the tech genius, unless they hire someone else to be the new techie, which I can definitely see, like a Bruce Banner, because what is Professor Hulk doing? He's already been in Wakanda, so why not have him there in the lab while Shuri's out the battlefield?
And with Thor signing back up, like he's even more in, I think. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I know they lost a few people, but like obviously they're going to lose Tony Stark. I don't think they'll pick up. I think the Young Avengers will get his daughter involved. I think that'll happen. I think Pepper will come back for a female Avengers movie, which I think is in the works more than anyone is willing to admit, which I'm thrilled about.
The A-Force, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Like, there was just so many. This WandaVision was so well done. This seemed rushed. Really rushed.
This first episode rushed? Really?
I think.
Like,
I want, if it was 2 hours and we had drawn some of this stuff out and you'd filled in a hole here or a hole there, cool. And now that I know it's only 6, the last 4 episodes better be 2 hours apiece.
I doubt that they will, but
I mean, like, how did you feel? Did you feel good after the first episode?
Actually, I did, and I kind of expected it to be what it was, because I'd heard a lot of the reviewers, they kind of alluded to the fact
I didn't do that.
Yeah,
You guys start sending me that stuff so at least I can have that frame of reference. Because I'm sorry, but I watched it and I'm like, this is done 10 minutes too early. I didn't even need another hour. There's just something there, and I don't like the villains because you're not even diving into that yet.
Well, I think
dive into it a little bit.
Well, I think they wanted to. I think with these next 5 episodes, they're really gonna hit us really hard. But I think they wanted to start us off softly, so that when they're ready to pull up the big guns, it'll really feel like, oh shoots, like now things have really picked up, and that's how you really do it in storytelling. If you really, and plus number one, they already have our attention, so they don't have to work hard for that. And
like you said, the first 10 minutes, you're right. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, but that was action. It wasn't writing.
Yeah, but this
and
whole
Balrock is still alive. Let's be honest. No way he's dead.
Right? Of course he's not dead. No, I remember he was in the Winter Soldier.
How did he break out, by the way?
I have no idea.
Any backstory there? Wait.
It was in the script. It was in the script.
This is what I'm talking like.
See, they can't give us a backstory and everything. We kind of just have to roll with it. And I know it can be frustrating.
Somebody breaking them out takes 30 seconds in the beginning.
Yeah, but it's like with the Russo brothers with like when everyone came back at the end of Endgame, it's like okay, we know there was probably about a good 20 minutes in between the time Hulk snapped his fingers and then the first portal opened. So how did Wong gather everybody from across the MCU in 20 minutes? We don't know, but okay, it worked. We get it, and let's just
let's assume that Doctor Strange contacts Wong. Then Wong's got a contact, and everybody's got, okay, cool. It took 20 minutes. I'm with you on that. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Dramatic effects. Then all of a sudden Captain Marvel shows up. Not that anybody blipped or bleeper. I mean, like.
That was
the biggest plot hole for me. Not that we didn't need her, but like.
To add to that, like, how are they all communicating with each other? I didn't see any of the comms on anyone's ears. Valkyrie was like, "Yes, I can see a van, but it's not. But it's you're not gonna like where it's parked." How did she hear Cap when he was like, "Where's the van?" And how did Carol hear Cap when he was like, "Damn,
you get a calm.
But see, those are just those things we just roll with, and I think with the Winter Soldier, I think this whole first episode was primarily focused on character development because we hadn't really gotten that at all, and we.
You know what? I wish they hadn't done the violence. Not the 10 minutes in the beginning. I wish they had actually truly just done a dialogue show then after that.
But see,
show the dream, show the beginning of the violence, but don't show the villains yet then.
Well, they didn't really show any of the villains yet, except for at the end, pretty much. I mean, they gave us hints that some of these government officials who Sam gave the
Are they the Thunderbolts?
I don't know yet because I don't remember any of their names, but I
think the Thunderbolts were led by General
Ross.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, but like he took a bunch of bad guys and made them heroes, and then they turned on him. But like this seems like a inside job, and if that's what.
Well, this is the government, so this is why I never want to work for the government.
And I don't want to see that kid get his ass kicked and then not follow up on it.
Well, see, I think they'll follow up on it, and in the comics, funnily enough, he becomes the new Falcon, but he actually becomes a Falcon because you know how Falcon has his little robot Red Wing? Well, in the comics, I'm pretty sure it's a real bird, and there was some some genetic splicing going on, and so what's his name, the young kid, he gets some bird DNA and grows like real wings like Angel, but he doesn't become the most popular Falcon, of course. But it's funny because Falcon becomes Captain America, and then this guy becomes Falcon.
The funniest part is we thought WandaVision was going to lead to mutants. Watch this one do it.
I mean, you never know. It might.
It just seems like it's headed towards someone you can't see, and everybody assumed Wanda because of her connection with mutants. And this just seems like they're going to do something so outrageous because it didn't make sense.
I mean, and also if you think about it, the mutants will have more of a government connection because the government is always the one who are trying to get mutants to sign up with this Mutant Registration Act. So you can definitely see how there's a strong possibility that we'll hear about mutants in this series. If not see them, we'll definitely hear about them. But this is, I feel like, WandaVision and this show with the super juiced up Flag Smashers, they're really setting the stage for ordinary humans hating people with powers. Because if you realize also, the Avengers have been disassembled, not because of bad things, or not because they're all on bad terms, but just because of certain events, everything played out that way, and they all went their own separate ways.
I think there are more Avengers than you realize. Ant-Man and Wasp would show up.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about like as a full-on team that's in like one space. They're still.
Like the Black Widow was the leader. No.
And now I think it's gonna be Wasp or like you said, maybe Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Douglas, because I can't see Michelle Pfeiffer being there without Michael Douglas, because they're like.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe it's like it'll be upstate New York, because we're already talking about the Fantastic Four taking over the old building, or Oscorp. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that William Dafoe is coming back. I mean, I'm sorry. I am such a William Dafoe fan.
All right, so let's talk about the Flag Smashers and the Fake Cap, aka the U.S. agents.
Flag Smashers. Oh, God, I know who they are. This is Ross. This is Thunderbolt Ross, and
oh yeah,
that's going to be the big bad this year.
Either he's going
to get part of the military, or he's going to have branched off and said, "Fuck it, I got my own team. Y'all didn't want to listen to me. Now I'm going to do my thing." Like there's something there. William Hurt's a great actor, and I can see him playing the part. I can.
Yeah, because he's always been that.
Zemo. Let's be honest, it's going to be led by Zemo.
Yeah, because he's not going to die in this. He'll get away, or he'll die like Hela did. Like, she's coming back, Zemo's. But I definitely feel like William Hurt will be the villain, because he already kind of is in a way. He already has this angst against the Avengers.
He was an asshole in Hulk. He's an asshole in Civil War.
And in Endgame. I mean, Infinity War. I'm sorry.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at an asshole.
And don't forget, he'll be in Black Widow whenever that comes out.
My grandfather used to say, if it walks like a whore, talks like a whore, and screws like a whore, it's not a fucking duck. And Thunderbolt Ross ain't a good guy.
Nope. Yeah. I love how they're doing this whole fake Captain America thing or whatever, because I love it more for Sam's character, because
if the continuity is there, they killed off U.S. Patriot.
Well, yeah, he's supposed to be U.S. Patriot.
They killed off.
Well, he is U.S. Patriot from. I believe that's what he's credited as being. But we also know him as U.S. agents.
That's what they said he was at the end of the episode. I don't know. Showing him off at the end of the episode was weak. That should have happened right away.
Well, if it would have happened right away, we wouldn't have had anything at the end. It's all about giving everyone just enough to make them anxious for the end.
Sam and Bucky meeting up again? Like, that's I feel like the first episode should have been like, hey, we got to talk.
Well, Sam was trying to do that, but Bucky wasn't answering his call.
No, but end of the episode, okay, buddy, talk. Like, I'm here now. Like,
dialing back to the whole Sam not wanting to take up the mantle of Captain America. I wonder if Sam would change his mind once he realizes that the original Captain America was a black man, Isaiah Bradley, and Carl Lumbly is said to be in the series, because his face is actually in the end credit scenes. And it's funny because, remember, Carl Lumbly played the voice of Martian Manhunter in the Justice League cartoons and in the movies. But I wonder if Sam would change his mind and feel like it's okay to be Captain America once he realizes that the original Captain America was black. Because I don't know if his hang-up is just like, oh, I don't want to step into the shoes of a white man, or I don't want to step into the shoes of someone else. It could be a mix of both. I can see it being both.
I don't think it's a white thing in the MCU. They've been very good about staying away from that.
It seems like they're going into that.
I'm just saying it hasn't really popped up. It's not a white-black thing to me, and I'm not trying to be.
I know.
that's the way it was written, I could see it, if that's the case. But I also think it's because he just, even that first scene where you see Falcon on your left, on your left, are you kidding me? You know, like, he's not that guy. And so I don't think he ever thinks he can be that guy. That's the part that I think this is. And it goes back to the beginning. Now, Bucky is that guy. And I like, if you watch Endgame, Bucky nudges him forward because Bucky knows how fucked up he's been.
Yeah.
But it should have been Bucky.
If Bucky was in the right frame of mind, then it would have been him.
Maybe that's what this show is going to head towards. Maybe we're really going to clear his mind. Maybe he's going to be able to beat the crap out of Zemo once and for all and clear his conscience. But my God, that scene with the guy's dad that he killed,
No, it was.
I mean, I'm sitting there and I'm like, that was the best part of the writing in the entire show.
Yeah, that caught me off guard because I was thinking to myself, is this older guy an old former war buddy of Bucky's? But then everything came together. I thought he was
one of the what do they call him, the fighting 51st or whatever. I thought he was that guy. And then when I saw the picture of the son with the incense, I'm like, caught me off guard. Cool.
I love it though. It really added depth to his story, and it made you really feel the burden that Bucky's been carrying around, because that's just one of many burdens he's been carrying around. But
this is a plot hole. Didn't Wakanda wipe those?
No, they just took the crazy part out of his mind, or they gave him his free will back in a way. I don't know how. They did it all off camera, but it was in the script.
It wasn't explained enough. So okay.
Yeah, in my mind, maybe he just needed a good night's sleep, and that's probably that's probably how he got his mind right. But yeah, I love that, and I wonder if they'll introduce Isaiah Bradley, and it's interesting because I could never see this country wanting a black guy to be Captain America. Well, let me say this. I could see the government officials never wanting a black person to be Captain America. The rest of us would be like, sure, we don't care as long as he can hold up the shield and throw it well. It's all that, as long as he looks good in the suit, But so when I saw that they gave it to U.S. Agent, yeah, I knew that they gave it to him because he's a villain, and that they're using him to kind of
right.
Yeah. They're using him. He's played actually by Kurt Russell.
Spoiler alert. We are predicting right now.
Yes. Well, I mean, he's a villain in the comics. So he's gonna be a villain in there. That's Kurt Russell's son, actually, Wyatt Russell. So when you see him, look at it. That's his dad. Or that's
brother.
No, that's your stepbrother. Yes, stepbrother. Not blood brother. Yeah.
Listen. Keith's gonna come back to me eventually, and I'm gonna be very happy about it.
As long as I get all of it.
Please edit that out. It's sexist, and I don't like it.
Okay, I'll leave it in. Yeah, I really feel like this is going to be an interesting storyline, and because I wonder if Isaiah Bradley will make an appearance in it, and I wonder how that's going to affect Falcon's decision. I forgot
about that, and you know what, you're completely right. But okay,
it just makes
a prediction on where this show is going.
Well, I think they'll, because I first heard about Isaiah Bradley about 11 years ago when I was working at the courthouse. One of my friends who was a client or customer there, he used to always bring in comics, and he showed me the one with Isaiah Bradley, and we talked about how it all pretty much everything that happened with Isaiah Bradley mirrored the Tuskegee experiments that happened here in real life, and how super soldier serum, it worked for a time on Isaiah Bradley, but then it kind of wore off, and now he's in a wheelchair. But then they perfected the serum and gave it to a white guy, but they tried it out on a black guy, because
if it shows up, oh my God, that's like Watchmen.
Well, yeah, I never saw the end of Watchmen.
That last season. Oh my God, if he shows up in a wheelchair and he gets Sam's attention, and even Bucky's. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, because again, his face is Carl Lumbly's face is in the credits. When you see stuff being peeled back and whatnot, his face is right there in the credits. So he's definitely. I've
never actually known that. Thank you for the education. I know my stuff, but that is.
Most people don't, and I didn't either. Again, until like 10 or 11 years ago, when my friend Dwayne brought me that comic, and it was actually the comic show with Black Panther and Storm's wedding, and everyone was there, and then all of a sudden said, "Oh my!" Everyone was like, "Oh my God, who's that? Who's that? Who's that?" And you see Isaiah Bradley rolling up in the wheelchair, and I don't recall them ever saying that that's the first Captain America. But Dwayne, he knows everything about comics. Dwayne's like 60 now. He's the one who said that's the first Captain America right there. Then he gave me the backstory. And I was like, "Are you serious?" And then he reminded me about the Tuskegee experiments and how it kind of mirrored everything in the comics mirrored what happened here in real life. And I said, that's
like I just said to you, there's always a relevant like when they were doing Civil War.
It's brilliant.
It's like bullshit.
Yeah. It's brilliant and it makes sense. And these are the kinds of stories that make Marvel to me be more relatable than DC, and how why they have more love than DC, because even with all the outrageousness and people flying across the sky, these characters are so human. What I really love about this series is that they are exploring how everything has affected both Sam and Bucky, and how they're both living without Cap, and how they are both two different sides of the Cap coin, and how they're both finding themselves and trying.
Bucky's having a problem with Cap, or is Bucky having a problem with being Bucky?
Well, Bucky's having a problem being Bucky, but Bucky is still without Cap. When he's with Cap, he's always better. So they're both him and
Sam's having a problem.
Yeah, and I don't think Sam is having a problem because he's missing Cap. I think Sam is having a problem because now that Cap's gone, Cap had passed his mantle down to Sam, and it's something that Sam doesn't feel that he's worthy of having for whatever reason. So he's still attached to Cap because he kind of feels responsible. He doesn't want to throw this thing away that Cap has given him, but then he kind of does he does that at the end, but he feels guilty about it. And then at the end of the show, we see that it's that lesson that I spoke about earlier in this video. When you have a certain kind of opportunity come your way, and you have the personality that kind of feels like you're not worthy of this and that, you will miss a really great opportunity. And not only will you miss it, but you'll see it go to someone who's so less deserving than you, and it'll be all your fault. But I think this is the point of the story too, but also it gives Sam something to work towards to get the shield back, but also to stop the bad guys. Because if anyone should not have it, it should not be the bad guys. Bucky should have it before Ross and U.S. Agent or Wyatt Russell. I should say.
You're gonna hand it over, give it to Bucky, and be like, "You're his best friend." Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because Bucky had it in the comics too.
I'm gonna nail you right now. That's something.
Yeah, dude.
What? 1 out of 10.
In terms of it being good or bad?
This episode,
I give it a 7 out of 10. I give it a 7.
I'm at Dave Chappelle. I played the 1, 2, 3, 4 physics.
So you give this one a 4 out of 10? 5 out of 10? I mean, that's still fair.
There's shit that they did that's leading into something, which is okay. But you didn't make it. There was. Now let me ask you this: do you honestly feel that it didn't connect? It's too broken up.
Do you feel like it didn't connect, or did it not connect the way you wanted it to?
No, it's too broken up. It did not connect. You can't have a guy get attacked and not find out who the villain is. You can't. Can't do.
And which part? The Asian guy when he got attacked?
Yeah.
Well, we found out that it was Bucky, so that connected.
No. I'm sorry. The guy that was with Falcon.
And
he got his face smashed in by the bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm feeling slighted because I'm sitting here going, could have been done differently.
Well, yeah, but I think what we have to do is separate what we got from WandaVision from this, because this is a completely different thing. But even if you do that, you might still feel the same way you felt, and that's still fair. But I think a lot of us got spoiled by WandaVision, so we have to.
This is why I think they're mutant related.
Well, they may be. There's a lot of things. I mean, like you said, the mutants could show up anywhere, and they might show up in something kind of unexpected like this. But I think it's necessary when telling a certain story, when you have a lot of time, and they have 5 hours or almost 5 hours left, so they have plenty of time to show us who U.S. agent is, what his motivation is, who he's working for, what's going on. We'll get to see Zemo, we'll get to see all of that, but we've gotten something in this first episode that we've never gotten with Bucky and Falcon. You know, we've never gotten enough character development. They were always shown as being kind of like two-dimensional characters. Falcon is a hero, but he's also a jokester. Bucky is crazy, but he's also pretty badass, and that's it. Now we get to spend more time with them, and throughout this first episode, they gave us hints of what's to come without telling us who the Flag Smasher leader is.
I was disappointed. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I know a lot of people were. That's fair. Because again, you want certain things, and then you're coming from the perspective of a writer. Like, I mean,
I was not disappointed by WandaVision. They advertised that the right way.
But yeah, okay. So let's conclude this review for Let's conclude this review for episode 1 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think the episode was called New World Order. I think I have to double check that, but I'm probably wrong. So I don't know. But
okay.
Till next week, we'll do this again, and hopefully in episode 2 will impress you more. I know you're hoping for it, so I'm hoping that Marvel delivers.
I will be literally on Friday. No, we're doing it on Friday.
Yes, we should do the live reaction thing on Thursday at midnight.
I don't have Boston, my son. I will be literally up at 3 a.m. No, 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
And then you'll be up at midnight, and we will talk.
Yep.
Because,
yeah,
we do an immediate reaction and then get everybody else's. But yeah.
All right, I will talk to you later. I'm about to get myself together to go exercise to burn off all these cookies and pasta.
Yeah, guess what? Go work out for me too.
I will, I promise.
Well, bye.
It's not goodbye, it's a see you later. All right, everybody. I want to thank Brendan for joining me for this spoiler review for Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 1. And our buddies Ray and Andrew will be back for next week, episode 2. So if you like this video, make sure you like this video. All right, liking the video helps, with the YouTube algorithm. And make sure you subscribe to my channel and ring that bell too, so that you can get notified whenever I post a new video. And if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, you can at creative_Klaus. All right, now always remember to fly high and fly free. Be you, because everyone else is taken. All right, now as usual, you can check out another video from me right now. And zoom, zap, bam.